England's Six Nations is over. There is still one game to go, of course, left over, France v Scotland, but England have got nothing more they can do. They finish fifth. So let's have a look at their report card and discuss where they go from here and what situation are they currently in. Hi guys, welcome back. Let's have a quick look at England's results and just go through those. Starts off, even though it's not a huge loss on the scoreboard, it felt like England versus Scotland was a huge loss. I thought Scotland absolutely smashed England. England were hanging on, they were slow, they were ploddy. It was really embarrassing. Scotland were super sharp. It was just the complete polar opposite in preparation of teams and freshness of players. In this game, this is the most obvious that Eddie had made a big error in picking all the Saracens players who had literally not played. It was a bit embarrassing, not fair really on Billy Vunipola, because he was just not even close to international fitness. When he's at top international fitness, as he did, to be fair, he got close to that towards the end of the championship. He still actually wasn't stellar, but still to chuck him in that sort of physical state was not good, and England were just absolutely shocking. Then we went on to Italy, and now Italy is always a bit of a misnomer because every team that played Italy came out looking good, so it's just hard to read in anything into that, although what I did see was a new England attacking shape, and that was actually a bit of a positive. I mean, I don't want this to be an England bashing, a massive Eddie bashing session. I just want to really say what I see, and there were a few positives. And I did actually like England's attacking shape, especially when Ford got hold of the attack, really buzzed that ball around from left to right. It looked good. They scored some good tries in that game. But like I said, everyone does against Italy at the moment, and that is the subject for another video. Now look at the Wales score and the Ireland score. Huge wins, absolutely huge wins. So these two were pretty humiliating. Brilliant from Wales and Ireland. But they battered England, absolutely battered England. England shouldn't be losing by this much. Okay, it's no shame to lose to Wales and Ireland. They're good teams. But those scores are huge. And the way England folded in both of those games, massive problems. Absolutely massive problems. Especially if this is the team that Eddie kept saying he wants to be the best in the world. Literally the greatest side ever to have played. It does seem a bit of a joke now looking at those results. The one shining light is England's win against France. That's the game they got it all together. They had huge criticism and some players pulled themselves up and had really good games. Young's, Farrell, etc. Fair play. But I did say in my report, they've just got to back it up. You can't just have one-off good games, say like Ben Young's did there, and then really not shine out in any of the other games. So one shining light. They finished fifth, which is essentially last because Italy kind of out of their depth there. So you've got to say a really poor Six Nations for England, and some of those results incredibly embarrassing against Scotland, Wales and Ireland. I thought they were just dreadful, to be honest. Now, did Eddie have some bad luck? Well, maybe a bit. Hill didn't perform as well as I thought he could. Ben Earl didn't. Lawrence didn't. Genge didn't. So there were some players who didn't step up for him, who I thought maybe would, but they didn't. In another couple of positives, the line-out I thought technically was pretty decent. Some of the attack, like I said, was pretty decent with Ford in there, but few and far between on the positives. Massive error, like I said, on the Saracens call for Eddie. Thought his players could just come through having played no rugby, and they could not. And other untouchables as well. Just seemed like they couldn't do any wrong and he'd still back them. Like I said, Ben Young's, Genge, for example. And that was a big portion of your team not performing well and also not really facing up to the same sort of criticism that he espoused by talking about form and picking the best players, etc. And he was kind of settling for mediocrity, which at the top level isn't good enough, especially when there's so many players available to England. And he ignored form. He always talks about form, but he completely ignored it. Smith, Sam Simmons, Don Brandt completely ignored, even though they're tearing up the Premiership. Everyone's scratching their heads, especially, like I said, after those absolute shocking displays against Scotland, Wales and Ireland. Now, there's a problem. If he has a few players out on the Lions tour, very few, That means he's going to have to leave a lot of players behind on this summer tour if he's going to really try and reinvent the team. And it does sound, from what he's saying finally, that he's going to do a big clear out and a big reset. I don't think that's what he was thinking at the beginning of the tournament. He thought it might be a slow evolution. Now I think he realises it's not. So does he have the guts, if you like, to leave a lot of these big names at home, even if they're not on the Lions tour? Players coming in, well, let's have a quick go through a few players I think maybe we should see on the summer tour. You comment below. Barbary, Martin, Sam Simmons, Dombrant, Ben Curry if he gets back fit, Tom Willis in the forwards. These are guys I'd definitely like to have a look at. In the backs, maybe Randall, maybe Quirk at 9, Smith, Joe Simmons at 10, Freddie Stewart, Hassel Collins, Hodge as back 3 options. England definitely like light on centres. They need to get a Dogwoo in there, get him playing as well. So these are the sort of players I think he should take on the Lions, not on the Lions tour, on the summer tour to the USA. And just give them loads of game time and not worry about the results. Can he do that? Can he leave his favourites behind? We'll see. Now, the other big problem he has is his captain is Farrell. Ford and Farrell go together. They're the brains of the team. If he brings in new 10s, he is essentially completely resetting, maybe even changing his captain, definitely changing who leads the team. You're kind of all in on Ford Farrell or all out. This Six Nations, he went all in and it didn't work out. What does he do? It's a massive dilemma. These guys aren't washed up, but like I said, they're the brains. If you take one away, you're kind of losing what you had with the leadership and the chemistry. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know what you think. What should Eddie do? And pop all those comments below because there's plenty to discuss. And I'll catch you guys next time.